Delhi is already witnessing a surge in the number of COVID cases. The capital's total caseload is over 480,000 infections and has recorded over 7,000 deaths due to COVID. The Delhi state government says they are working on revising the city's infection containment strategy.
Bars and restaurants in France could stay closed until the 15th of January 2021. This is according to reports in the French media, which say the government is worried about opening cafes and bistros again just before the Christmas and New Year holidays and seeing infections spike once more. FSN's Ross Cullen reports from Paris.
The situation looks bleak for the hospitality sector this winter, which would usually see packed bars and restaurants as the Christmas shopping and holiday period approaches. However, non-essential shops could reopen before the end of lockdown. Shopping centres are urging the government to allow them to reopen in time for Black Friday, the famous discount day after American Thanksgiving at the end of next week. Ross Cullen, Paris.
US President-elect Joe Biden says President Trump's refusal to accept the outcome of the election is putting American lives at risk. The president-elect is calling for immediate talks between his team and the White House in a bid to ensure the effective distribution of COVID-19 vaccines as they come online. From FSN's bureau in Washington, Simon Marks has more.
With President Trump still failing to concede he lost the election, the man who won it says the consequences are clear.
More people may die if we don't coordinate.
Joe Biden says it's embarrassing for the country that transition procedures are still being blocked by President Trump. And he said vaccine distribution requires coordination between the current government and the next one, starting right now. But there's no sign the president intends to yield.
Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump is reportedly set to order a further withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan and Iraq. US media says the latest drawdown of troops could finish just days before Joe Biden's inauguration. International Olympic Committee Chief Thomas Bach says he's confident there will be spectators at the Games in Tokyo next year. He's in Japan for a 4-day visit to discuss preparations. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother! We can do this together!
All right, let's go!
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't? Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this! You will rock this!
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Tuesday, November 17th. We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Tony Sanfilippo. Tony, how you doing this morning?
Doing well. It is another fine morning in the neighborhood or here on the Fenix Media Broadcast Network. So excited to be here for the second day of the week.
Very cool. Yeah, you know, it's a little
I look
more...
like I just rolled out of bed, though. I look like a goober, man.
Nah,
little hat.
You look pretty well kempt. It looks like you're keeping up the No Shave November and...
Keeping up, yeah. You know, I watched the playback of our show last night, just a little sample of it, and it's like, oh, you kind of see it. I mean, you might need a 60-inch screen TV to see the damn thing, but it's there.
It's coming in. It's coming in. Yeah, you know, I've got sort of the opposite curse that I could shave it all off and I just go, and it pops out. You know, it's
yeah, it's like the animated episode of of course it's animated. The Simpsons when Homer shaved and like 2 seconds later it was all like pop.
It's like those
pops up.
It's like those Play-Doh extruders, you know, the haircut ones.
Oh yeah, when you got to get rid of it and just press it through. Good stuff. Very good.
Well,
how are you this morning?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday I was a little on the tired side. You know, Mondays are always tough getting out of the weekend and, you know, getting up early to put a show together and get going. But, you know, typically by Tuesday, I'm feeling pretty good. And then, of course, you know, we hit Thursday, Friday where things start running down again. But, you know, we have fun with it. It's always a good time. And, yeah, we never take ourselves too seriously, which is probably a good thing. But, folks, let's go ahead and kick the show off the way we do each and every day with a question for my co-host.
Cuckoo.
Tony, if you were to professionally, so somehow in your career, protest something that you were against, how would you do it?
Oh, well, you have to make sure it's all in the delivery. Like, you can't, if you don't agree with something, you can't just run in and say, it should be this way, and you're doing it wrong, and it's my way or the highway. You got to realize, like, if you're working somewhere, you're a part of a team. And, you know, I would like to think that the employer will appreciate your values. And it's all about going to the person where you need to make the change with and express your either not want to say discomfort, but your disagreements there. And if you want to make a change, voice your opinion in a professional manner. It's just all in the delivery and stuff. And you have to go in there knowing that the change may not happen and you may have to just deal with it. But as long as you voice it professionally and in a proper setting, then that's how I would do it, at least.
Well, that's very responsible of you. You know who's not responsible? Well, two pilots...
This guy or girl you're going to tell us about.
Two pilots are being probed for making a penis-shaped symbol on air radar in solidarity with Russia's football team captain, Artem Zuba. No. Zuba 32 was suspended from the international team after an explicit video of him taking care of business in bed was made public. The crew members of Pobeda Airlines are said to have maneuvered their plane to fly a penis-shaped route in support of the star. Flight DP-407 took the detour as it headed to Yekaterinburg from Moscow on November 11th. Russian state media called it a ballsy flight path and wondered whether these actions of the pilots were a bit too cocky. A spokesman for the budget airline said this was probably the way in which Pobeda captains expressed their support to Russian team captain Artem Zuba and showed their attitude to him being bullied. An investigation into the incident by the Federal Air Transport Agency was later confirmed. Reports indicate that the unnamed crew members had requested to perform air maneuvers because they needed to, quote, check radio navigation equipment. As a result of the stunt, the flight landed 20 minutes later than scheduled. Executive Director of Aviaport Agency, Oleg Pantelev, told RBC News that investigations were being conducted into whether the pilots had permission to perform unusual maneuvers around the airport. And I'll post this up on our Facebook page, but you can actually see the flight path. It's pretty hilarious. I'm not going to lie.
That is pretty fun. I ain't going to lie. And that's also going to be the script for the third Top Gun.
I'm sure there are so many...
Damn it, Maverick!
puns that you could pull out. Of course, you know, the state media
absolutely. Like, one of the biggest ones in that story is you said the guy got cocky.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. Yeah, cocky while making quite the path.
They had a little fun in the cockpit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it goes to show that, you know what, each person has their own way to protest. This just happened to be in the biggest way possible.
Yeah,
pun intended.
literally.
and I did get a kick that the flight number was DP 407.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we have a wonderful show lined up for you today. It is a Tuesday. Let's talk about today's show, shall we?
It is Taco Tuesday!
Oh, tacos.
Being that it's Tuesday, we've got Animal Tales sponsored by Rough Riders. We have a segment called Don't Want the Job That Bad. Our call-in topic today is gaming on the go. What mobile games are you playing right now? We have a segment called Well, This Is Awkward. We close out the day with This Day in History, and Tony is up next with the entertainment news. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at fenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Tuesday, November 17th. We talk about it a couple times each show. It is the Fenix Line. You know it. You love it. It is our 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line, giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever. Maybe perhaps you wanted to draw penises in the sky in solidarity of your favorite soccer player. You can. Just tell us about it. That number for the Fenix Line is 855-FENIX-RADIO. That's 855-FENIX-RADIO or 855-336-4973. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together, put them out in a future show. Now it is the second segment of this show, and you know what that means. Tony's here with the entertainment news.
Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, November 17th, 2020, and here is the Filippo Possibly Fast Five. It just ran long yesterday. We'll see if it's a little shorter today. Chadwick Boseman, as we know, passed away earlier this year, and he will not be digitally inserted in Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. But without Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther 2 will not include a digital double for the late actor, confirms Marvel EP. Our king has passed away in real life. We will find a way to honor him in such when the sequel is ready. So they're still kind of working on that. I think from what I've gathered, it looks like Shuri is going to, yeah. Shuri, okay, see, Filippo her name as a Marvel fan. I think she's going to take the helm of it, which would be just fine. She was really awesome.
I'm down for it.
In game as well as Black Panther. So, Judd Apatow to helm untitled pandemic comedy film at Netflix. No details given, but he's going to be doing a comedy based around the pandemic. However, I don't really find all his movies quite that funny, maybe because they run to be about 3 hours long.
Yeah, his early ones were. His later ones try to take a more serious role, which aren't great. We don't need more pandemic stuff. Michael Bay's working on like a futuristic pandemic movie. I'm over it. I don't want to watch entertainment while I'm stuck inside because I can't go outside because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's when you watch a film, you want to escape reality, or you want to be forgotten about whatever you're dealing with in your day-to-day lives. And we all deal with this together. And I agree with you. It's one of those things that we're living it, like to forget it, like it to be like in the rear view, like where we can look back and be like, God dang, that was such a crappy time, right? But this was fun. We did the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. That was a blast.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, that's always a good time. Man, if you're a fan, if you currently have Hulu Live TV, you are going to be pissed. Hulu's raising their price of their live TV bundle by an extra $10 a month starting on December 18th.
Wow.
The Hulu Plus live TV bundle will now cost you about $65 per month over the current price of $55. In fact, if you have extras on that, Mike, of obviously fan of the show, watch right now. Hello, buddy. He snapped me a picture. His bill for next month is already going up to $78 after taxes and fees. And he's like, are you kidding me? This is the whole reason why I got away from Dish and cable.
Right.
You've now officially whipped from being an alternative where people are like, you know what? I like what you have to offer. But, and while Hulu is great, Hulu you can get in many different ways. It's packaged with Spotify. It's packaged with your Verizon subscription. You can bundle it with Disney Plus, and there's so many other ways to get your Hulu. And let me tell you, I wouldn't pay $75 or $65 for Hulu.
No, ultimately,
even with live TV.
Yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot. There's plenty of live TV alternatives out there. YouTube has a live TV package. There's Sling that's out there. You don't have to stick with Hulu to get live TV, especially if it's going to cost you just as much as cable.
Yeah, if it's going to be as much cable, you might as well go with cable.
Yep.
Just saying. Starting today, so I know somebody who's going to really love this story. Starting today, like right now, those who have Amazon Fire TV, Fire Sticks, and any Fire or Amazon devices are now able to load the HBO Max app on their devices, and they can start streaming HBO Max right now.
Thank
right
goodness.
now.
Thank
right
goodness.
this second. I know you. I put this in for you because we bitched about this back in May and we didn't get it and yada yada. Well, now you can watch your HBO Max on your Fire Stick, buddy.
I'm so happy. Yeah, now, in order to watch HBO Max, I have to turn on the PlayStation 4. I have to switch the HDMI input over to HDMI 2. I have to pull it up. I have to cycle through the PlayStation over to the live video or to the TV and video. I have to find HBO Max. It's a pain in the ass. The other thing is that the PlayStation 4 controller, HBO Max on PlayStation 4 won't let you turn the controller off without stopping HBO Max. So it just kills the battery in the controller. So I'm so happy with that news.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, when you can have HBO Max on a streaming device versus a console, when you're done with HBO Max, if you want to zip over to YouTube or Netflix or something else, man, it's just seamlessly. It's so much nicer. I know those listening are like, quit bitching, man. This doesn't seem that hard. Well, until you've done it, it is quite the pain in the ass. This is why I quit streaming any application on a console, because it's a flipping nightmare. So it's better to have a streaming device that's designed just for streaming. It works so much better.
Yep. Now all we need is for Amazon to get Vudu.
Yes. Okay, there you go. I'm surprised that they don't, but they do have movies anywhere, right?
They do.
Okay, well, that has most of the Vudu movies. Not all of them, but it has most from that. So you should try that.
All right.
See if that works.
Give it a try.
Netflix canceled The Order. I never saw this show. This is probably why I got canceled. The cast is devastated but thankful. Creator Dennis Heaton made the news public on Friday, saying he's honored to work with an incredible cast and crew, but Netflix axed the show. It's one of the best experiences of my career, he wrote. Unfortunately, we aren't returning, but I will always cherish the memories. Thank you for all watching. So this is the first of a Netflix show. Instead of being like, we're going to go shop it and find another home, they're just like, okay, well, there you go. Thank you.
Right.
So that's always a bummer. So any fans of that show, hopefully you didn't get too involved, because there will be no resolution to whatever it's about.
Yeah, and unfortunately Netflix does that. If the show's not, like a Stranger Things or a House of Cards, something that's performing super well, they'll axe it after 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Here's looking at you, Santa Clarita Diet.
It just happens.
Yep.
And lastly, in the Filippo Fast Five, or now lately the Filippo Long Five, Tommy Lasorda has been hospitalized. The Dodgers legend is reportedly in ICU with heart issues. So sending well wishes to Tommy Lasorda. You ever play Tommy Lasorda's baseball on Sega Genesis?
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it does not hold up today.
Probably
but,
not.
it was cool back in the day. It was like the first sports talk. It was like Joe Montana sport talk football, like rah, 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 but it was talking, Anywho, so that was the Filippo Fast Five. Now, did you hear about this over the weekend? Rick Moranis was just walking down the street down in New York City, and some jackass freaking punched Louis Tully, man.
Yeah, that actually happened about a month and a half ago, but they just caught the guy over the weekend.
Okay, that's what it was. But either way, what a crappy situation for old Rick, man. New York police have arrested the idiot who sucker punched Rick Moranis last month. Marquise Ventura, way to go, Ace, is accused of attacking Moranis, 67, on the morning of October 1st as the actor walked down West 70th Street near Central Park West. Ironically, that area is also where his apartment building was in Ghostbusters.
Right.
Just saying. Moranis sustained injuries to his head, back, and hip in the attack and was taken to a local hospital for evaluation. Ventura was arrested on Saturday, November 14th, and charged with second-degree felony assault. Great. You get everything you deserve, buddy. You do not mess with a national treasure like Rick Moranis. Nope. Justice hopefully will be served.
Yep.
And Moranis is healing, and he made his first on-screen appearance in 23 years with Ryan Reynolds for Mint Mobile, which wasn't much. It was just kind of, he was there, but it was good to see him. He's set to reprise his role as Wayne Slazinski in Disney Plus's forthcoming reboot of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So wishing Rick the very best. I hope he makes a cameo, and I hope it's so tight-lipped that nobody knows about it until we see it in Ghostbusters Afterlife, coming out in June.
That's my hope too.
Yeah. Universal and Cinemark have announced a deal to shorten the theatrical window for VOD releases, something similar to what they did with AMC in July. With this agreement, Universal and Focus Features theatrical releases will remain in theaters for 17 days and then able to go video on demand. This multi-year agreement between the two is to further help theaters, Cinemark in this instance, to prevent movies from going straight to VOD on release day. This undercuts theater chains already struggling to remain open. So any movie that opens to 50 million or more will see its 17-day timeline extended by 14 days for a total of 31 days before going VOD. I think this is all good business for everybody involved. I personally think 30 days is probably the better way to go with it. Let it get a full month run, make that freaking theater cash in 1 month, and then go get that extra, go for seconds. It's like eating a piece of pizza, get that slice or two in, let it settle. Still hungry, go for more after the 30 days.
Yeah, and
it's kind of a weird analogy because I'm actually hungry this morning.
And ultimately, it's no wonder that Cinemark sort of followed suit. AMC is probably the biggest theater chain out there, and if the studios are doing it for AMC, why not for Cinemark as well?
Yeah, and it's good. And it's too bad if Regal would have hung in there. I'm sure Regal would have gotten a piece of that kind of pie deal too. And I say this every week. The reason why I bring up movie theater stories is so I could support it. I still buy into the Cinemark, what is that, movie club program every month. I get charged whatever, the $8, $9 a month. I don't stop it because I want them to succeed. So even if I'm not using it, which is a waste, shame on me, but I'd like to see them succeed. AMC, I think, has not been charging me the $20. They keep postponing it because they haven't don't really have movies that are enticing people to do their $22 a month fee. So
But maybe they should still give you the option at like half price, and that way you can help support them. And
because the little theater where I saw the weirdo with the Sonic the Hedgehog, that theater opened back up. I've been there since, but it's open.
And ultimately, if the cinematic movie theater experience disappears, it's going to be a sad time for us because there's nothing like going to the theaters.
Yeah, I don't want to have to tell my kid at age 45 when I have a kid, I'm guesstimating, I'm throwing it out there, and be like, Daddy used to go to theaters, and I used to do this radio show, and I used to do reviews. And your dad was some hot stuff, man. Let me tell you something. I don't know how that would go. But either way, that's going to be your entertainment news because I really stretched it again today. I have fun chatting away on the little things apparently lately. But we got some birthdays. Not a whole lot, but enough to finish off the segment. Birthday time. It's always sunny for this little penguin. Danny DeVito is 75. This hot chick in Mean Girl is having a game night for her birthday. The hottie Rachel McAdams, still good looking at 41. I didn't know her Marvel character from Doctor Strange, so I didn't utilize that one. Lucifer, Tom Ellis, is 41. Looking forward to the rest of that season. Legend, wait for it, Derry, director of Goodfellas, Taxi Driver and The Departed and Wolf of Wall Street. Martin Scorsese is 77. I was going to go with somebody from How I Met Your Mother.
I did,
one,
yeah.
Huh? And live from New York, Mr. Saturday Night, Lorne Michaels, 75. That was my best impression for that. That's your birthdays today for November 17th. Y'all have a good day. See you on the next segment.
Folks, that does it for the entertainment news. When we come back, it is Tuesday. We've got Animal Tales sponsored by roughriders.org. Don't go anywhere.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Hey!
So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Indeed. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Tuesday, November 17th. Now we are all over social media with many of you watching us right now as we speak on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Now, if you want to get a hold of me on social media, I'm available at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Fenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R, or on Instagram and Twitter at Fenix Media Radio. Tony is available at facebook.com/Tony.Sanfilippo. That's SANFILIPPO.94, or on Instagram at Tony.Sanfilippo81. Now, being that it's Tuesday, as we do on Tuesdays, we like to explore animal tales sponsored by roughriders.org. Now, Rough Riders is a 501c3 dog rescue nonprofit dedicated to the transport of dogs from kill shelters out in the rural areas, bringing them back to central metro northern Nevada here, working with local shelters and rescue groups to give them a second chance and find them new homes. Now, if you want more about Rough Riders, head over to roughriders.org. That's RUFFriders.org, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Rough Riders Saves. Now, without further ado, let's get into animal tales.
Dogs and the cats, they take up the middle where the honeybee hums and the cricket fiddles, the donkey brays and the pony neighs. The old gray badger at your size.
Listen to the bass, it's the one on the bottom where the bullfrog croaks and the hippopotamus moans and groans with the big to-do, and the old cow just goes moo.
All right, kicking off Animal Tales, Tony, one of your favorite places to go, especially if you're out in California or maybe you head over to Florida.
California! No, Jimmy!
Is the beach. What has your experience been with the seagulls? Do you find that they're respectful of your space and your food? And
No, oh, yeah, total. Like, they leave you alone and they don't go near you. Yeah. On the pier in San Diego, man, if you stop and get like an ice cream cone or you just want to get a snack and you're walking around, man, those little bastards are quick.
Yeah, they are.
Take a churro out of your hand or whatever.
Well, it turns out they're pretty smart too. So gulls work out the timing of school lunch breaks so they can steal food. They've been watching us for decades, monitoring our movements, studying our behavior, tracking our routines, stealing our chips. In the seaside city of Bristol, gulls are the ultimate human stalkers, and the timing of their peck, well, is impeccable. Scientists tracking these birds have discovered gulls are so well adapted to human urban environments, they know exactly where to forage for food and, more importantly, when. In one of the United Kingdom's most gull-infested cities, these shrewd birds have figured out when a local school takes its breaks, and they've shifted their own meal times accordingly. Just before the mid-morning and mid-afternoon recess, when students begin to unpack their goodies in the schoolyard, gulls of all sorts can be spotted on the surrounding rooftops, sitting and waiting for the kids to come. Scientists counted the highest number of birds at 11:15 a.m. and 12:45 p.m., which is also when the schoolyard was most crowded with children. The school breaks fell between 11 and 11:20 a.m. and 12 and 12:20 and 1 p.m. They said, our first day at the school, the students were expected to tell us about the gulls visiting their school at lunchtime, says Anouk Spelt, who studies the behavior of urban nesting gulls at the University of Bristol. Indeed, our data showed that gulls were not only present in high numbers during lunchtime to feed on leftovers, but also just before the start of the school and during the first break when students had their snack. So, yeah, it seems...
Pass my snack pack!
Seems a little on the obvious side, but yeah, gulls are smart and they are a pain in the ass. And
yeah, it's funny because Lacey's afraid of birds, and she texted me during this and she said, "See, my fear is justified." She gets stalked by these damn things.
They're creepy, and you know the Hitchcock movie The Birds, that's no joke.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on with Animal Tales. Tony, who are you betting on in the pigeon races this weekend?
I am gonna go for the Seattle poop birds.
All right.
You know, yeah, they drop a lot of poo. If they would just let Phyllis cook on their team, those pigeons would actually do something, you know?
Who knew pigeon racing was actually a thing? But apparently it is.
Come on, little Phyllis. I'm rooting for you. I got fantasy points on Phyllis. Yeah, if you can give me at least 10 fantasy points this week.
So a racing pigeon has sold at auction for more than... How much do you think the racing pigeon sold for, Tone?
Oh, gosh. It's going to be something ridiculous like... $10,000.
How about $1.4 million?
Dude, I was gonna say $1 million, but that's too high, so I'll go with thousands. Ridiculous!
Yep.
$1 million.
Yep. Sold at auction for $1.4 million to a mystery Chinese buyer. The 3-year-old hen called New Kim was sold by Belgian auctioneers Pigeon Paradise in an online auction for 1.6 million euros, or equivalent to 1.4 here. But the sale beat the 1.25 million euros paid last year for a male pigeon Armando, dubbed the Lewis Hamilton of the sport, which has become highly lucrative in China. Go figure. In a frantic...
This is Armando. He is my racing pigeon. I pay this bastard lots of money for big wins in pigeon race.
In a frantic final half hour of bidding, 2 Chinese buyers using the pseudonyms Super Duper and Hitman sent the price for New Kim skyrocketing. The champion bird from Antwerp is likely to be used by the unnamed buyer for breeding. Go figure. Quote, I believe it's a world record. There has never been an officially documented sale documented sale of such a price. Pippa chairman Nicholas Gisselbrecht said, "I don't think we could reach that amount." New Kim won the 2018 crown as Ace Pigeon Grand National Middle Distance in competitions held in Châtellerault and Argenton-sur-Crau in France. So, you learn something new. I didn't even know pigeon racing was a thing, let alone that a pigeon could go for $1.5 million. That's nuts.
Yeah. Hey, babe, I got this deal. Now, don't be mad. I made an investment. I only spent our life savings and in savings we didn't even really have. Guess what I bought? But don't be mad. I bought a racing pigeon.
A racing pigeon.
A racing pigeon for only the low cost of $1.1 million.
And I'm going to breed it.
You want to go cuddle now? Like, did that earn some cuddle time? No?
No, not so much.
Oh, you're divorcing me. It's a pigeon. The pigeon's going to win.
It's a sure thing.
Yeah,
that's a crazy world we live in. And then finally, moving on to our last story in Animal Tales.
I like that.
Obviously, the tropical storms, the hurricanes, they bring out animals of all sorts. Well, in this case, floodwaters from Tropical Storm Eta went so high in a Florida man's yard that he discovered a manatee grazing on his grass. Manatee is also known as a sea cow, so it makes sense. In a video posted on Facebook by Matt Hathaway of Flagler Beach, the manatee can be seen swimming around the yard earlier this week after rising tide waters combined with Eta's torrential rain. He said, "The tide was so high, we have a manatee munching on grass in our yard." The video shows the manatee grazing while calmly swimming around Hathaway's yard. Eventually, the manatee swam safely away. So, he's just having a nice meal on a probably well-groomed yard, but that would be something to see, just peeking outside.
Well, and that's the crazy thing. When you get the hurricanes, you don't know. Sometimes there's sharks that get whaled out to places you wouldn't expect. I mean,
crocodiles, alligators.
Yeah, it was like one I saw years ago. There was this terrifying one where there was due to the floods and the way the hurricane had shifted, down just a public street where there was a lot of standing water, there was a shark just sitting there. And I'm just like,
yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, it's
I'm good.
Not what you want to see. I mean, if you're in Florida, you're already dealing with, the big old bugs, the reptiles, the gators in your backyard, all that stuff.
Zombie cicadas,
I guess a manatee would be a welcome thing. You're like, well, it's not something you ever see every day.
It's an adorable sea cow. Well, folks, that does it for Animal Tales, sponsored by roughriders.org. When we come back, we've got a segment called Didn't Want the Job That Bad. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And welcome back, folks, to the fourth and final segment of the first hour of this episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is a Tuesday, November 17th, but don't fret, we still have a full hour ahead of us with some great topics, including your call-in topic of gaming on the go. Now, if you missed a portion of this show or you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, it's easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us. Click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts, whether it's Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, about 20 in all. While you're there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review. Let us know what you think and tell your friends, because sharing is caring. Now on the show, every once in a while, we like to talk about some of the ridiculous things that happen around our jobs, whether it's just in the everyday day-to-day of the jobs or the hiring process, which in this case we're talking about people who don't really want the job that bad. Before my career in broadcasting, I was in marketing for automotive companies, and I've interviewed people that they walk in t-shirts and jeans, and again, makes you wonder how bad they really want it. Now, Tony, I know, obviously in retail and Costco, in all due respect, you guys will hire just about anybody, just because,
Nowadays, truth, yeah, it never used to be that way. We used to always hire I don't have the cream of the crop button ready, but we used to hire the cream of the crop. Yeah, we did. But nowadays, yeah, it's kind of, if you're living and breathing, if you can get an interview, you have to be really bad not to make it to the next one. And case in point, I watched a dude yesterday. He came in dressed like a slob. I guess like during his questions, he was one-word answers. He didn't have much of a personality. They're like, one of the questions was, "What did you do to prepare for the job?" Nothing.
I showed up.
Okay, yeah. So tell us about yourself. My name's that would have been perfect to have this.
My name is Jeff.
Okay, well, what do you do?
My name is Jeff.
Oh, okay. Can you push carts?
My name is Jeff.
Yeah.
Remix.
So that's about how that goes. But he didn't make it. But but you have to be pretty bad. But I agree with you. Yeah. Nowadays, there's just the standards, the bar's lower, unfortunately.
Well, and part of the problem is that, some of these kids growing up are entitled, feel like they deserve the job regardless if they interview well. Well, unfortunately, that's not always the case. And so we're going to run down, a few stories of people who didn't really want the job that bad. For instance, you have this person who wrote, I once interviewed a guy who asked me who his boss would be. When I explained it would be me, the person interviewing him, he laughed and said, "Congratulations for getting so far," but that he could not be expected to just do what I asked him to, and also any woman being in charge of man was disrespectful. He did not get the job, and rightfully so. Apparently this guy time traveled from 1955 because he had no idea where he was or what he needed to do to actually get the job.
Why are you wearing that life preserver? What?
You make like a tree and get out of here.
This one on sort of the opposite side of the coin. Every once in a while you'll interview for a job and they want you to pick up added expenses, which doesn't make any sense.
No.
This person wrote, "We won't give you a contract until you've bought your uniform and paid for your training." Yeah, no, hard pass.
Yeah, that's something I'm not going to do. You know, like I forget, I think it was Arby's. Back in the day of the old days, one of my first like legit corporate jobs was Arby's, and I think we had to pay for those ugly like button-up shirts. Like,
did you really?
You had to pay for that? Yeah, you had to put a deposit down.
They don't want you getting Arby's sauce all over them?
Yeah, you know, horsey sauce was okay, but Arby's sauce was unacceptable.
I still remember your customer with the cancer kazoo, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. One ham and cheese, one mocha shake. Thanks, Adam.
Moving on, didn't want the job that bad. Well, I don't envy teachers. Teachers have such a hard job. They get a lot of crap for, in many cases, having 3 months off at a time, all holidays off, all that. But everything they do, regardless of that, is hard work, and they got to deal with kids. Kids are hard enough on their own. A pack of kids is that much harder. Well, this person puts, "Back when I was teaching, I had an interview once where I had to plan a lesson of bingo. One of the kids kept rubbing their answers out and writing new ones so they could win. I sat down and advised the kid that I didn't think what they were doing was fair and asked them why they were doing it. We had a little chat of the school values and they agreed that it was wrong of them to do it. Cut to after the interview, and the interviewer took me aside and said that it was disgraceful. I told a kid they were cheating and it was wrong and I'd make a horrible teacher. One of the many experiences I've had and why I don't teach anymore. Some schools are honestly just toxic. The teaching profession is really only for strong-willed people, and I am definitely not one of them." Yeah, that's... there's a lot of things that we talk about. We try to stay pretty neutral, but I am definitely against the participation trophy for every kid, making every kid feel... good about themselves. School is for learning values, what's right and what's wrong. Not that you can get away with anything just because, you've got a good attitude.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things, it's the whole thing. Like, I'm a nice guy, and you would think like everything just goes perfection for me. Like, there's no problem. Like, oh, Tony's such a nice guy. I bet everything just goes great for him. Nope. I get dealt poopy hands.
Oh, you got close. Not that it matters.
Not like we would have got fined if it slipped, but I caught myself. It's not like I don't have those days, and I don't go home and pout about it. Sometimes it doesn't go your way.
Right. It's just not fair.
No, it's fun. It's okay. You have your people you can vent to about certain things, and then you move on. It sucks, but I'm with you. The whole participation trophy. If we would have grown up in an era like that, I can't even imagine the demanding little baby I would be today. I'd be an old baby, but demanding one. Jeez.
Here's a news alert for you guys. Life is not fair.
Inconceivable! It's like Wednesday. Words are hard. Well, every day, life is hard.
Life is hard.
Just so you know. Yeah.
Speaking of life is hard, here's people who didn't want the job that bad. For instance, this person puts, "I once had an applicant throw a fit and insist that he be given my job immediately. For the record, he wasn't even remotely qualified. Shockingly, I decided not to hire him." And again, you get people who feel they're entitled to it, even though they don't have the qualifications, they don't have the background, they don't have the skills to do it. They think that they're just going to learn on the go, and they're destined to make a huge salary for it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, like in any job, you just don't, just because you think you deserve all that stuff, you have to work for it. Like, and you have to go through the trials and tribulations. You have to go through the rejections, the turn downs, and then the success. Every time you get a victory, that pushes you in the right direction. And then every time you get a defeat, you evaluate what went wrong, and you learn from it and grow from it and keep trying. Exactly. Until you eventually get to the point where you're just like, I'm good with it, I mean, if you get to that point, that's fine too. But as long as you put in the effort and you understand what goes on with yourself and what you can and can't do and what you bring to the table.
Exactly. Moving on with didn't want the job that bad. Ooh, I couldn't imagine working for this lady. Says the owner of the company told me she'd come to my house and cut off all my hair if I ever shared any information with her competitors. I never shared any info about the company, but you better believe I told everyone what she said to me. That's nuts.
Yeah. How about, I'm good. I don't need to work through that bad. I mean, whoa.
In what interview would you be like,
I would love to have you start Monday, but if you say anything to the competitor, I'm going to cut your damn hair off.
Yeah, I want to work for the person who threatened me. That makes sense.
Yeah, just breaking news. I don't need the job. Thank you. I mean, actually, if I got that, I said, okay, no problem. And then I'd get out of it. I don't know what you would do face to face. They may be that nuts and cut your hair right there.
Right. And then Tony, I didn't realize that you had put something in on this selection. Says person had an interview at a retail store. They said, I'm really good at zoning out and doing repetitive, boring work. They still got the job. Don't know how.
Yeah, it happens. Mindless zombiness, baby.
Exactly. Well, folks, that does it for the first hour. When we come back, it is our call-in topic of gaming on the go. Enjoy the 7-minute break. We'll see you guys in just a few. You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and Shelter Pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. To explore our complete lineup, head over to fenixmedia.us or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett.
India recorded over 29,000 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. That's the lowest daily increase since July. It takes the total confirmed caseload in the country to over 8.87 million. From New Delhi, Sriyoshi Mukherjee reports.
India's fresh daily cases fell below the 30,000 mark for the first time in 4 months. However, experts say reduced testing over the festive season and holidays could be a likely factor for the low number of infections reported. Health officials are still worried that a spike in the number of cases is yet to come, as many violated the COVID-19 guidelines over the festive weekend. Delhi is already witnessing a surge in the number of COVID cases. The capital's total caseload is over 480,000 infections and has recorded over 7,000 deaths due to COVID. The Delhi state government says they are working on revising the city's infection containment strategy.
Bars and restaurants in France could stay closed until the 15th of January 2021. This is according to reports in the French media, which say the government is worried about opening cafes and bistros again just before the Christmas and New Year holidays and seeing infections spike once more. FSN's Ross Cullen reports from Paris.
The situation looks bleak for the hospitality sector this winter, which would usually see packed bars and restaurants as the Christmas shopping and holiday period approaches. However, non-essential shops could reopen before the end of lockdown. Shopping centres are urging the government to allow them to reopen in time for Black Friday, the famous discount day after American Thanksgiving at the end of next week. Ross Cullen, Paris.
US President-elect Joe Biden says President Trump's refusal to accept the outcome of the election is putting American lives at risk. The president-elect is calling for immediate talks between his team and the White House in a bid to ensure the effective distribution of COVID-19 vaccines as they come online. From FSN's bureau in Washington, Simon Marks has more.
With President Trump still failing to concede he lost the election, the man who won it says the consequences are clear.
More people may die if we don't coordinate.
Joe Biden says it's embarrassing for the country that transition procedures are still being blocked by President Trump. And he said vaccine distribution requires coordination between the current government and the next one, starting right now. But there's no sign the president intends to yield.
Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump is reportedly set to order a further withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan and Iraq. US media says the latest drawdown of troops could finish just days before Joe Biden's inauguration. International Olympic Committee Chief Thomas Bach says he's confident there will be spectators at the Games in Tokyo next year. He's in Japan for a 4-day visit to discuss preparations. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The Storks are bringing me a baby brother! We can do this together!
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this!
You will rock this!
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Cool. Very cool. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this weirdness.
Welcome back, folks, to the second hour of the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Tuesday, November 17th. We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. Still joined by my co-host, Tony Sanfilippo. How you doing, Tone? Got your Zip Fizz, got your smoothie. Feeling good this second hour?
Zip Fizz, smoothie, you know, all that good stuff. Yeah. Right before the break, when we went off and we were talking about take this job or, you know, like I don't need this job. When Lacey was in charge of Verizon, she interviewed a girl in her prom dress.
What?
So the girl showed up in her prom dress. And let me bring up the text.
At least she attempted to dress up.
Yeah, she was in a prom dress and told us her biggest achievement that she has had to date was her beautiful singing voice.
Oh,
that just goes to I think a segment we have done in the beginning of the show, which was job interview horror stories or something like that, and that just kind of fits with something like that. It's nuts, but
it's weird.
Yeah, man, it feels good to have groceries to make a smoothie and stuff again, and to have Zip Fizz and things like that.
Well, folks, this is the interactive portion of the show. This is where we want to hear from you guys, the listeners and watchers. The way we do it is we let you know the topic the day beforehand so you can call in on the Fenix Line, our 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line at 855-Fenix Radio. That's 855-FENIX-RDO or 855-336-4973. And, of course, if you do chime in on the call-in topic, you are entered into a chance to win our, as we dubbed it last week, our prize contest for a chance at Fenix Fan Gear, which is a Fenix Media hat, t-shirt, maybe some other goodies, but we're getting ready to do our first drawing here relatively soon. So that's a little more incentive to chime in on tomorrow's topic, which we'll get to in a little bit. But you can also comment on our Facebook Live video over at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Fenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R. Just click into the video, comment into the comment section there. Unfortunately, you're not entered into a chance to win that prize contest from the comment section, but we still love your interaction. Now, Tony and I have talked about in the past that, we were gamers growing up. We love video games. Obviously, we grew up in the era of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and of course, the first mobile games, which were Game Boy, Game Gear, those sorts of things. Well, things have obviously advanced since then. Our time isn't as readily available as it used to be, so we can't get into, the big, long console games, but we do still have time to, if we're sitting on the crapper, trying to kill a little bit of time, play mobile games that, of course, we're both iPhone users, but it's available on Android as well. And wanted to find out, what you guys are playing. What are you playing on the go? What's a mobile game that, is occupying your time and, something that's maybe easy to pick up or, is just so addicting that you can't put it down. You find yourself just awake in the middle of the night trying to tend your crops like Jesse does with Heyday.
Heyday!
There's so many out there. But, Tony, what are you playing on the mobile side right now?
I don't get to play a whole lot. Like, when Nintendo released their mobile games, like they had Mario Run, which I paid the $10 for that because it's Mario. And that had so much fun for about a week, and then I was good with it. Like I did what I could do with it, and then the Mario Kart World Tour came out for it, which again on paper sounds like it's gonna be awesome. And then Dr. Mario. So I was playing those, but my frustration with that is you have to be somewhere where you have phone service or you have to have a Wi-Fi network. So if you take it to go on the plane, good luck playing those games. They don't work. So that was frustrating. So I kind of put those down. But the one game I do find myself every once in a while picking up is probably Words with Friends. The only thing I hate about that, and I'm not buying the full version because I'm cheap, but I have to deal with these stupid ads, and they're always for like Heyday and then Garden Escapes, and it's always you have to sit through these dumb ads for all these other mobile games. And one interesting little ad it had was for Pop Blitz, which is the Funko Pop characters. And it's like a little puzzle game with their faces. So like the little icon is Marty McFly, which is cool. And then when you get like 3 Marty McFly faces, like the DeLorean comes at you. So, you know, it reminds me of Bejeweled or something like that, but with pop faces. So between that, Words with Friends, those are probably the 2 that I play if I play mobile games.
Well, the funny thing is
the Nintendo ones.
The reason most of these games are free, and then you've got the paid version, is because of the ads. And it looks like at least one of the ads worked for you because that Funko Pop ad popped up, for lack of a better term, and you probably ended up downloading it because of that ad.
Yeah, I tried it, and it's all right, you know. But again, then that game has ads too, and it's like. I just want to play video game. I don't know. I don't want to sit there and play. Another fun one to play too is 1010. It's like Tetris. That's a good game.
Yeah, I've never played that one, but the only problem, and you mentioned the Nintendo ones like Super Mario Run or Mario Kart World Tour, they're dumbed down versions of the console or even the mobile games where it's essentially just a one finger type thing. So you don't have control over your character moving forwards or back or jumping or doing certain things. Like on Mario Run, you just tap it to make him jump and he keeps moving forward. And so it takes some of that fun, some of that skill out of it if it's just dumbed down to that basic thing. But folks, we are talking gaming on the go. What mobile games are you playing? After the break, it's going to be about you guys, so comment now on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Phoenix with an F, Radio, of course, with an R. Just click into the live video and let us know what you're playing. Folks, don't go anywhere. When we come back, it is all about you, and I'll go ahead and share the game that I'm playing, at least a little bit with my kids. So we'll see you guys in just a couple minutes.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Tuesday, November 17th. We are smack dab in the middle of our call-in contest, topic, actually the interactive portion of the show where we invite you guys to chime in right now on our Facebook comments on the live video over at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. Topic today is gaming on the go. What mobile games are you playing right now? So before we get to you guys, wanted to talk about a game that my boys turned me on to. I don't play it much by myself, but anytime I'm hanging out with them, it's something we've been playing recently, and apparently it's taking off like wildfire. It's a game called Among Us, and it's essentially... best way to describe it is the plot of Alien or Prometheus with graphics similar to early Zelda games and gameplay that is similar to like Clue, sort of a whodunit where, you know, it's a multiplayer. You've got 10 people aboard this spacecraft. 3 of them are known as imposters, or, you know, the gameplay can be set up otherwise. And the imposter's goal is to go around and sabotage parts of the ship or kill crew members. And then the crew members have to come together, discuss who they think is an imposter, and eventually vote out who they deem as the imposters. And of course, if they vote everybody out, the crew members win. If the imposters end up killing everybody, sabotaging or holding out, then they win. And it's, a fun game that sort of makes you think, collaborate, and, it's got some fun little characters with some add-ons that, little hats. They've got the brain slug from Futurama on there. And,
oh, nice.
Yeah, some fun stuff. So I've been playing that one with the boys, but we want to hear from you guys. What are you playing? Tony, I assume the Yandras probably chimed in.
Yes, they of course have. Michael is just playing Twitter. He just reads Twitter. He doesn't play mobile games. But
you can make a drinking game out of it.
What's that?
You can make a drinking game out of Twitter.
Yeah, this is true. You could, like which hashtag you want to go after. Lacey's playing Block Doku. It's kind of a puzzle Tetris game. It's hard to explain, but it's a lot of fun. So
interesting.
Okay, Block Doku.
Yeah, things to check out. If
Doki Panic.
Yeah, if you need to kill a little bit of time. The problem is that there are so many new games that come out regularly that it's hard to stay on top of them. But I mentioned earlier in the last segment that Jesse is addicted to Heyday. Heyday is essentially
Hey Jesse.
It's a game where you farm. That's the whole point of the game. It's like these sim type games where you build your farm, you sell your goods, and you keep growing and building. And she is just into it and stays up late into all hours of the night tending to her farm or dealing with Tim, who is her virtual helper. And it's funny because she'll every once in a while those little things pop up where you get a special deal for $5, $10, and she'll buy the extra diamonds or whatever it is. And, it's how they make their money. It is crazy that these mobile games make so much money just based on kids, and in this case, my fiance, shelling out their hard-earned money to buy little upgrades bit by bit, as opposed to, $60 for a full game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it is definitely the way of gaming nowadays. They'll just put out basic stuff, but if you want to play the full version, man, you gotta be buying their little expansions and all that.
Yeah, it's
Jeez Louise.
The other game that my boys are really into is a game called Brawl Stars, which again, has its own big but niche following. And my son last year told me that he has spent over $150 on upgrades and mystery boxes and things like that. And it just blew my mind. Now, this was money, obviously, that he got from Christmas and birthdays and things like that. And it was his to spend as he wanted to. But, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me growing up in a generation where you just bought the game, you got the full game, you enjoyed the game, and then you could actually resell the game if you needed to.
Yep, and then you just waited for the sequels, and the sequels were the ones that had like the new gameplay and the more characters, and you're just like, yes. But nowadays it's just not like that. So
no, and in fact, the big game manufacturers right now are going through and trying to introduce things like that. In fact, EA got into a lot of trouble with their last Star Wars Battlefront 2 game for some of the things that they were doing. And there's
the loot. Oh yeah, those loot crates.
Exactly.
All that crap. Yeah.
And it's even gone so far as going to the government, to Congress, to try and outlaw these things as gambling, or trying to make sure that there's at least a fair playing field for those who pay versus those who don't pay. And it's a really weird thing to dive into. But Tony, I'm going to run down the top 10 games, and folks, feel free to chime in with what you're playing. And I want to see if you've even heard of any of these. The number one game across all platforms, all app stores, Scribble Writer.
Never heard of Scribble Writer.
How about Cube Surfer?
Never heard of Cube Surfer.
How about Brainwash?
Nope.
I guess sticking with the surfing theme, the fourth most downloaded game, Subway Surfers.
Nope.
And
but I do like that level in Turtles in Time. That was fun.
That is a fun one. That game's been out for a while. I'm surprised that's still up in the top 10. Number 5 is a game I was just talking about, Among Us.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to play that yet?
No.
It's fun. It's entertaining.
I might have to play. I always like the addicting games, especially if it's something where I could actually play it if I'm on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are the fun ones. But most of the games I download, like Marvel's Clash of Champions or all that stuff, you got to have a connection to play any of those things.
Well, same with Among Us. It is purely a multiplayer game, so looks like that might be out for your plane travel. And number 6 is a game called Fruit Clinic.
Nope, never heard of it.
I don't know if it's along the same lines as Fruit Ninja or what.
Oh, Fruit Ninja, I remember that.
Yep. Here's one I know you've probably heard of, PUBG Mobile.
I have heard of PUBG, but not mobile.
Yeah, PUBG.
Just I've heard of PUBG, though.
Yeah, PUBG is like a Fortnite. It's just a multiplayer... how would you put it? A battle royale type game where it's essentially last man standing.
It's the whole thing. It's whatever. That's all the trend, like Fortnite. I never got into any of that.
Here's a game I can't imagine would be any fun, but apparently it's number 8 in the most downloaded App Store games right now. Tie-Dye, where you get to virtually create your own tie-dye clothing. I don't get it. Number 9 is a game called Log Thrower.
No.
And the 10th most downloaded game is a game that I know you've heard of just because it pops up in every single ad that ever pops up, Homescapes.
Homescapes is, that it's always the little idiot that but what's funny is, like, when you look at the game, you're like, okay, so I have to save this little idiot for making a bad choice, and it's a little puzzle thinking. But then when you actually see the actual game, the game looks nothing like the little stupid ad. Like, the ad's a cartoony guy.
Right.
And he dies every time. But when you look at the actual game, it's like an above, like, Sims-looking game. And I'm like...
Yeah, it's almost like false advertising. Now, the one that I've been amazed, and they've been showing recently for Homescapes, is like a woman walking in on that character and another woman in lingerie. It's like, how is this game meant for kids? And obviously they're targeting kids with the ads, but that's going a little risque with their the Homescapes.
Yeah,
games.
well, it's where they call it Homescapes. Like, it's like, is it a garden game, or like, why is this dude always risking death? It's this balding idiot with like the black hair and stash. It pops up during Words with Friends every time. And there's a fish one too that's very similar.
Yeah.
Where the fish, you have to get the fish home, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but you know what? Mobile games help us pass the time, and if you find one you like, then good on you.
Lacey asked, whatever happened to like Diner Dash or Candy Crush, like the initial wave of mobile gaming? Mobile gaming is strange to me. It just, none of those games sound appealing. Like, I am so shocked, like, you don't get more of the, and they do exist for the most part, but they're not really widely popular. You can play all the original Mega Man games mobile. You can download them. They're relatively cheap. Sega has their games for free on mobile.
Yep.
I mean, they have ads, but you can play the original Sonic the Hedgehog on the phone.
I can tell you why they're not more downloaded, because those games were hard. And kids don't want to play hard games. They want to play games that they just have endless levels, that they can just do the repetition. I remember playing Mega Man over and over, just trying to get to a certain point. And of course, if you lost all your lives, you had to go all the way back to the beginning. The kids don't have those challenges these days.
No. And you know what game is really cool? I don't know if it's on mobile, but I did pick it up on the Switch for like $5. And the Switch you can at least take on the go, which is great.
Yeah.
But that's Pac-Man Championship Edition. That game is addicting. It's a lot of fun. I'm not sure if that's on mobile. And then lastly, before we wrap it up, Lacey said she downloaded Gardenscapes once because she thought it was just that, and she got addicted for a while. So, but the game pisses her off, and she would save the guy to choose the fate every time. So.
It's beyond us. Obviously, these games aren't necessarily meant for us.
I love talking video games, but man, I have no familiarity with today's choices. I'll tell you that much. I did feel a little foreign on that one.
Well, the good news is you will have some familiarity with our topic for tomorrow, which we're inviting you guys to call in on the Fenix Line. Tomorrow we're talking movies and the greatest plot twists of all time. So,
ooh, it's a twist.
Yes, so stay tuned so that way you find out how it ends, because it might be a little bit of a plot twist. Here's looking at you at M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong. So
Shyamalama Ding Dong. I see dead people.
Folks, we are headed into a break. When we come back, we've got a segment called, Well, This Is Awkward. So don't go anywhere, and we'll show you just how awkward it can be. See you guys in a few.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole, or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix radio show. It is Tuesday, November 17th. Now we talk about it all the time on the show. It is the Fenix Line, a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line, giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever. Maybe you want to let us know which mobile game on the go that you're playing right now, and maybe it's something we've never heard of and you want to sing its praises, or you want to chime in on tomorrow's calling topic, which is movie plot twists. What's the best movie plot twist of all time? You can do so.
What twist?
On the Fenix Line, that number 855 Phoenix Radio. That's 855 FENIX RDO or 855-336-4973 for the alphanumerically impaired. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together and put them out in a future show. Now, in this segment, I wanted to talk about, well, this is awkward conversations. This sort of came up because the other day, you know, and it happens quite a bit, but, you know, Jessie gets tired at night and she'll start a conversation in her head and then decide to include me in on the conversation about halfway through without cluing me into what the context is. You know, maybe it's a commercial she saw 2 minutes ago, maybe it's something she was thinking about, and at some point the other day, we were having a conversation about two very different things, and it took us a while to realize that that was actually the case. She thought she was talking about one thing, I thought I was talking about something else, and it turned out to be very awkward that it sort of mashed up in a way that didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it was just quite awkward. Tony, in your experience, have you ever had any just awkward conversations where either the timing wasn't quite right or you weren't on the same page or you know, there was just something about it that made it that much more awkward?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's kind of, always in those moments, these are great questions because, yeah, I've had it happen quite a few times. It's just trying to think of a specific example, you know, whether it's, you know, like, I like to mess with people when they go like, "Your mom does that," those jokes. And I'm like, "Oh, my mom passed away," and then it makes it awkward.
Right.
But, aside from that, like, I have talked about things where apparently, where sometimes people go through personal things, like if you make a joke about like, "Hey man, I'm drunk," or you poke fun at something to be funny, because anytime you try to be comedic to lighten the situation, sometimes people have gone through those real situations.
Right.
One of the biggest ones I can remember from high school, which I'm not proud of, but and I've since apologized, and thank God she loves me and we get along great now. But our friend Maura, in high school, like, to impress Lori, who I had a wicked crush on, I just admitted on the radio. I took she was like Miss Anti-Mormon. She was Mormon. And I was like, "Oh, this is what I think of the Book of Mormon." And I put it on my booty and I rubbed it and thought, haha, this is funny. And then, ooh, man, like, you didn't realize the awkward, like, how I made Lori feel, because now, like, I totally offended her friend, and I, like,
right, you
made it all awkward, all just for the sake of a laugh to cheer one person up. So, if I go back and take something away, that'd be, don't do things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of think of how other people feel before you start to do actions or say things.
Right. Well, timing is everything. For instance, in this case, you have Twitter user Zolani, who says, "I broke up with my girlfriend. Broke up with my girlfriend at a restaurant, and she started crying. Everyone thought I had proposed, so they started clapping."
Oh no! Ouch! And folks, that is your soundbite today. That's going to be the clip later. Ouch!
Here's one that actually I run into quite a bit. You have Twitter user N Sahar says, "My lab partner said, 'Hi, I'm Christian.' And I said, 'Hi, I'm Muslim.' Of course, his name was Christian. My name is Christian. Of course, I have to explain to people that, my name's Christian, like the religion, but with a K."
Yeah, my name's Kristian with a K, Fenix with an F, radio.
Of course. But it's something I've had to do my entire life. And of course, I don't think I'd ever come out and just introduce myself with my religion first. So, I can see where that would be a little on the awkward side. Moving on with, this is awkward. You have Twitter user Dr. K, who says, "True story. Surgeon says, did someone fart?" There's silence, and the surgeon says, "I need to know if someone farted. I may have a perforated bowel." Med student says, "Oh, I farted."
Oh, that's good stuff, man.
And that's one of those things where timing is everything. Obviously for a surgeon, if there's a perforated bowel, there are big consequences that could come from it. So he needs to know. And of course, that poor med student had to fess up, in that case, the surgeon wasn't the one who dealt it, but certainly smelt it. So here's one that you may want to check what somebody's holding before you ask them the question. You have Twitter user H. Durant says, "I saw a girl carrying a hamster, so I asked if I could pet it, but it was actually a muffin, so now I'm on my way to jump off a cliff."
Whoa, that's a weird looking muffin.
Oh, if a muffin is furry and hairy, then you might have more things to worry about.
What kind of muffin is this girl eating? Good Lord.
But yeah, definitely take a little bit closer look at just what somebody's holding.
Ooh, is that a trouser snake? Ooh, what's that?
Tony, I wonder if this one's ever happened to you, especially with your AirPods. It seems to happen similar to this all the time, but Twitter user Ryan Langdon says, "The elevator door opened up and a guy walked into the elevator. It was just me and him in there, and he said, 'I love you.' And not to be rude, I said, 'I love you too.' He gave me a weird look and pointed at his Bluetooth device." Obviously, he was awesome. On the phone.
Awkward.
Yeah. And you don't want to just confess your love for somebody that you just met on the elevator.
Hey, going to the airport? Nice.
Wednesdays, which tomorrow is Wednesday, and we always talk about words are hard. Well, sometimes, you mix words up a little bit. You have Twitter user BlackwatchPunk who says, I once walked into a Subway and asked for a moot ball feet long, said crap directly afterward, then walked out. Can never go back.
Moot ball. Like, I don't think that's that embarrassing. I just don't know why you would call a meatball foot long a moot ball.
A moot ball feet long.
I play it off. I'd be like, oh, Lord, a moot ball foot long. Oh, Lord, yeah, what's it smell like feet in here?
Tony, have you ever meant to say one of two different things and somehow those both got mashed up into the exact same thing?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well, you have Twitter user Lee Lucas Carey who said, meant to say, hold on for a second and give me a minute to a customer, and it came out as, hold me for a second. What a Monday.
Yeah. Awkward.
Awkward. I've had that happen.
One thing I've done, it's not saying, but that's awkward, and then I don't know how the hell to get out of it. Like, one time I was explaining something to a lady at work, like a member, and I winked at her. She goes, why are you winking at me? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I didn't realize, but I was like, oh, yeah, do you need anything? She goes, why'd you wink at me? I'm like, I don't know. Dude, it was mortifying because I didn't have an answer. I'm like, I don't even realize why. I don't know why I winked at you, but I did. Whoops.
And that can
awkward.
Yeah, and that can be creepy if it's the wrong person winking. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, she was like, "What? Why are you winking at me?"
The other one that happens to me all the time is, for instance, we went to the movies this weekend, and you go up and they scan the little barcode, and the person says, "Enjoy your movie," and of course I respond back, "You too." They're not seeing a movie. I am.
Well, it's a natural response, Right. It's almost like, hey, have fun. Yeah, okay, you too. Yeah, that's understandable. But it is funny because you're like, wait, you're just looking at tickets. I gotcha.
Ooh, here's an awkward one. People have, they joke about having their work wives or work husbands. Well, this Twitter user, of course, they blocked out their name, says, I surprised my girlfriend at work this morning, came up behind her and kissed her on the neck. She laughed and said, Mike, stop, we're at work. My name is Brandon. Ruh-roh.
Ooh, yeah. Ruh-roh, Reggie, that is going to create a huge can of worms. Like, that's not just awkward because even if you weren't doing anything, oh, man.
That's going to
there's boundaries. Like, you can have your quote-unquote work wife or work husband, like, that you just talk to, but you definitely don't cross any of that stuff.
And that's going to lead to more awkward conversations.
Oh, well, yeah, there's no way getting out because how do you explain it? Even if they're telling the truth at this point, you look sketch. It is completely suspicious at this point.
Absolutely. And then finally that was awkward. You have Twitter user Tufty Frog who says, one time I went to hand someone a bowl of hot soup and my brain tried to say, careful, it's hot, and here's your soup. So instead I blurted out, careful, it's soup.
And on that note, I'm going to back right on out of here.
Folks, we are headed into the break, headed into the last segment of the show where we drop a little knowledge, hopefully make you laugh at the same time. This Day in History is up next. Don't go anywhere.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Well, we did it, folks. We made it to the final segment of this episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Tuesday, November 17th. Now, if you missed a portion of the show or you want to catch up on any of the previous shows, it is easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts. Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, Doozer, Dozer, Geezer, Gozer.
Are you a god?
Frodo doomed us.
And I think Zoom cut part of that out because we got
It was supposed to be just Frodo yelling. That little Frodo.
Oh, little Frodo.
I tried to find an animated no. You'd be amazed how many weird no's there are.
There's plenty of them on there. And of course, none of them are labeled quite right. But in any case,
that's
folks,
why during break I sample it with the mute on.
There
just
you
in
go.
Case.
Folks, while you're there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review. Let us know what you think and tell your friends. Because why, Tony?
Sharing is caring. And I brought you your soup hot.
Careful, it's soup.
Careful, it's soup.
Sharing is caring, which is why we do this segment each and every day. We drop a little knowledge, hopefully make you laugh at the same time. It is time for This Day in History.
Traversing the globe for the stories that turn the world on its head. It's This Day in History with your correspondent on the beat,
Kristian Fenix.
For instance, this day in 1558, Elizabeth I, aged 25, ascends to the English throne upon the death of her half-sister, Queen Bloody Mary. Now, was Bloody Mary the one that she bathed in the blood of virgins to try and continue to look beautiful? And if I say Bloody Mary one more time, she's going to kill me in a mirror around here somewhere. So,
yeah, we used to play that game as a kid, man. I remember one of my birthdays at had my entire baseball team over for my birthday party, and we did Bloody Mary. I remember me and Garrett Lapierre were in there and claimed we saw something. You didn't see anything.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth, that's right, you're the queen of the crop. Yeah, you were. Bloody Bloody Mary. I ain't saying it a third time. No, I'm not.
Go ahead, do it one more time.
Bloody Mary. I'm all fidgety. I'm scared.
Yeah, it's like saying Candyman. Is it 3 times or 5 times?
Yeah, we gotta say it like I think 5 times. Although I gotta say on a side note, man, that new Candyman with Jordan Peele, even though it got delayed, looks pretty damn cool.
It does. I'm looking forward to that.
It looks good. Yeah.
Moving on with this day in history. This day in 1603, English explorer, writer, and courtier Walter Raleigh goes on trial for treason. It seems like everybody was on trial for treason back then.
Yeah. You know, a lot of these guys would have been perfect for the world of professional wrestling. Who's going to turn heel this week?
Yeah.
You want to be the bad guy this week? Okay, cool.
Right. And I don't know if it was later or before this, but he was later knighted. So he was Sir Walter Raleigh, but was on trial for treason. They were just looking for reasons to behead people. That's basically it.
Today you will be tried for treason as you would not eat my grandmother's soup. It was the uncles who beans and cabbage, and if you don't eat it, it's treason.
And as we
Off
know,
with your head.
As we know, careful, it's soup. This day in 1855, David Livingstone, Dr. Livingstone, I presume, becomes the first European to see Victoria Falls, what is now Zambia and Zimbabwe. And I actually think that was the basis for the movie Up, where, you know, they wanted the house to be and all of that. But yeah, you know, it's back in the mid 1800s, there was still a lot of exploration going on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, especially you think of the way traveling and things were back then. It's not obviously like not even close to today. So I would imagine if you go about just 5 miles on a walk, you're going to discover some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. We'll call that Victoria Falls. That's right. That little waterfall right there. That's Victoria Falls. It's beautiful.
This day in 1863, Abraham Lincoln begins the first draft of the Gettysburg Address. 77 years ago. What is 80 again? Is that?
I don't know. That's a good question because it's a very famous line.
A score is either like a week or 7 days or 14 days. Folks, if you know, chime in on our Facebook page because I learned it growing up, but I have no idea what 80 is now.
It is, definition, it is being 4 times 20, 13th century meeting, first known use of 80.
So 4 times 20. Okay. All right. Let's do
4
a lot
times 20 and 7 years ago.
Right. Instead of saying 7 years ago last month, 80. I don't get it. Anyway, moving on. This day in 1884, cops arrest boxer John L. Sullivan in his second round for being cruel.
Wait a minute. What? For being cruel?
Yeah, if that was still the case in these days, Evander Holyfield would have been... Mike Tyson would have been arrested for biting off Evander Holyfield's ear for being cruel.
Yeah, it's spinal. It's a spinal injury. I broke my neck.
It's lobal.
Spinal. Spinal, Kristian. I might talk to the pigeon from earlier in this episode. He's going to be very upset with you when you said I was angry.
Speaking of angry people, this day in 1894,
knock you out with an uppercut.
Serial killer H.H. Holmes is arrested in Boston after being tracked there from Philadelphia by the Pinkertons. He's a serial killer I've never heard of before. H.H.
Triple
Holmes.
H, man.
Yeah.
What was his name? Hunter Hearst. What?
H.H. Holmes. It doesn't say what.
Triple H Holmes.
What the
you know,
H's
surprisingly, I bet you Lacey knows who the hell that is. After, dude, yesterday she's one of those people that listen on the radio that scream at the host like, "It's this, you idiot!" You know how we were talking about the Ed Gein or Ed Gein, whatever his name was, and you're like, I think it was the Amityville horror. Well, apparently he was the basis of Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And,
that's what it was.
And that was that. I read all the text post, and then she told me of her weird, useless knowledge of serial killers and stuff. And she's definitely not, but she said it kind of creeps Mike out a bit. But she probably knows who Triple H is.
Does she have a complete...
Holly Holmes, whatever his name is.
Does she have a complete set of the serial killer trading cards from Addams Family Values?
Ooh, I don't know, Lacey. You'll let me know if you do. I don't know.
Yeah, you'll have to chime
She was
in.
trying to tell me about a Nebraska serial killer, and the only one I can remember was Dexter when he threw that body in the cornfield, or in that corn thing, and just disappeared. So.
Moving on, this day in 1967, Davy Jones' The Monkees opens a boutique, Zilch 1, in Greenwich Village, New York. Okay.
Hey, we're the Monkees. And
We've
again,
got
tie
all
it
your
to
clothes.
Lacey. She loves Davy Jones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, huge Davy Jones fan.
Here's a guy that we have to thank for this. This day in 1970, Douglas Engelbart receives the patent for the first computer mouse.
Oh, thanks, Engelhurt. Hunkle Dirt.
This day in 1979, Salem's Lot, American two-part miniseries based on the horror novel of the same name by Stephen King, premieres in the United States. I love Stephen King books. Maybe he should stay off Twitter, though, with the whole political views.
Yeah, sometimes that's a bummer when people that you really admire their work for, and then they start preaching their political stuff. That's why I don't ever preach political crap. Ever.
Yeah.
I don't want people to be like, I like Tony's kind of funny, he's kind of weird, but talks too much politics.
Damn you, Tony. Finally, this day in 2015, actor Charlie Sheen confirms that he is HIV positive. Don't want any of that tiger blood, that's for sure.
No. Wow. Well, it doesn't surprise me. That dude, I want to know who's had more sex in their life, him or Tommy Lee.
Ooh, good question. I guess we will
I
never
tell you,
know.
they've had more than I had. I'll tell you that much.
And then finally,
lifetime. Wow.
With the last minute of the show, let's run down some of today's holidays.
Holidays. Winning. Tiger blood.
It's not on the list, but we wanted to give a special shout out because today is National Preemie Day, and of course, super fan of the show, Bella was born a preemie, and of course she is just a sweet, sweet little girl. So we want to recognize that. Today is also American Enterprise Day, America Recycles Day, Day of the Imprisoned Writer. Don't know what that means. George Spelvin Day.
Oh, I gotta take the day off. It's George Spelvin Day.
Yep. Love to Write Day, National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day. Probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Little Red Wagon Day, National Bundt Cake Day. I can get behind that.
Bundt cakes, yum.
Pack Your Mom's Lunch Day, National Spicy Hermit Cookie Day. Have no idea what that is. And National Raisin Bran Cereal Day. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Folks, that does it. When we come back tomorrow, we've got Wednesday, Words Are Hard Wednesday. So enjoy your Tuesday. We'll see you guys in the morning.
Pack a lunch for Mom.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great